In the 8th year of his marriage to Gu Shiying, Lu Qian, stranded on a deserted island, received a system warning. Warning: host's affection mission failed. Wife's affection level, 0. Daughter's affection level, 0. Obliteration will occur in 7 days. Lu Qian had come to this world on an affection mission solely to save his deceased fiancée. But he lowered his head, eyes filled with bitterness as he looked at the photo in his hand. It showed Gu Shiying and their daughter with Tao Kai, appearing as close as a family of 3. Yet, in his 8 years of marriage, there had been no wedding ceremony. He didn't even have a single photo with the mother and daughter. Their preferences were strikingly similar. They adored Tao Kai, yet despised him. Lu Qian took a deep breath and tore the photo to pieces. If he couldn't save his fiancée, living alone held no meaning. Qian ran. He would be joining her underground soon. On the deserted island, covered in frostbite, Lu Qian clutched a handful of grass roots, numbly stuffing them into his mouth. He was so thin he was nothing but skin and bones. Above him floated a system projection visible only to him. Lu Qian had been born into this world after accepting the affection mission. He and Gu Shiying confirmed their relationship at 18 and married at 24. She had once held him passionately, promising to love only him forever. But now, she lay obediently in the arms of his adopted elder brother, Tao Kai. She cooked for Tao Kai, brewed brown sugar water for him, meticulously prepared gifts for him. All the things she claimed during their courtship that she would only do for Lu Qian, she now did readily for Tao Kai. Their daughter, Pan, inherited her mother's disposition, detesting her biological father while adoring Tao Kai. In the month Lu Qian had been abandoned on the deserted island, neither mother nor daughter had given him a thought. While he starved to the point of collapse and froze into unconsciousness, they were busy pleasing Tao Kai. It wasn't until the 30th day, when Tao Kai's uremia worsened and he was hospitalized, that Gu Shiying finally remembered him. When Gu Shiying found him on the island, Lu Qian's throat had been scratched raw by the dry grass roots, and he was retching violently, coughing up blood. Seeing him, a flicker of compassion crossed her eyes, but it was quickly replaced solely by disgust. Lu Qian, you should kneel and thank Akai when you get back. If he hadn't put a good word for you, I definitely wouldn't have come to get you so soon. If you have even a shred of conscience, donate a kidney to Akai. Pan, only 6 years old, chimed in with a complaint. Daddy, just give Uncle Tao 1 kidney, it won't kill you. Don't be so stingy. Lu Qian looked at the identical expressions of disgust on their faces, his heart aching intensely. His month on the island had been a living hell. Yet, their minds were solely focused on Tao Kai, seemingly blind to his miserable state. Lu Qian staggered to his feet, but a wave of dizziness washed over him. He accidentally bumped into Pan, who pushed him away, crying and shouting. Bad Daddy, your blood got Uncle Tao's gift, my clothes dirty. I hate you. Lu Qian was shoved to the ground. The frostbite sores on his hands scraped open, the pain piercing to the bone. Gu Shiying helped him up, her expression growing even more repulsed. Stop playing pitiful, it's useless. Sign the contract to donate the kidney to Akai. If you don't sign, you could just stay here on this island. Don't leave me. I'll sign. Having not spoken for a month, Lu Qian's voice was incredibly hoarse when he opened his mouth. He wiped the blood coughed up from the corner of his mouth and, with hands covered in frostbite, arduously yet desperately signed his name on the donation contract. He no longer cared how Gu Shiying saw him, but he couldn't bear another 7 days on the deserted island. That kind of suffering was too agonizing. Only after boarding the plane did Lu Qian feel a sliver of security, staring blankly out the window. Before 18, he was despised by his parents in this world. After 18, he had placed all his emotional reliance on Gu Shiying and Pan. Yet, just like his parents, they repeatedly hurt him for the sake of Tao Kai, the adopted son. The affection mission had failed. In 7 days, he would be obliterated and go to see Qianran. For the rest of his short life, he no longer needed to deliberately try to please them. The moment Lu Qian stepped off the plane, before he could even catch his breath or take a sip of water, Gu Shiying whisked him away to the hospital. His body was covered in frostbite, his face obscured by a mixture of mud and blood. His clothes were tattered, filthy, and reeked. Passers-by stared, their gazes a mix of pity and disgust. Gu Shiying saw it too, but only spat hatefully. This is your retribution for harming Akai. You deserve this. I didn't harm him, Lu Qian, even now you're still going to lie? Gu Shiying cut him off with a roar. Utterly exhausted, he still couldn't help but argue weakly for himself. Gu Shiying, I donated a kidney to you before. I only have one left. If I donate another one to Tao Kai, I'll die. Gu Shiying sneered. A pack of lies. When I had my accident, it was a Kai who donated his kidney to me. What does it have to do with you? Lu Qian, can you even speak a single word of truth? Lu Qian was accustomed to her verbal abuse. He knew explanations were futile, so he simply stared at her in despair. When they first fell in love, she had told him it didn't matter that his parents didn't love him. She would love him. But in the end, she treated him even worse than his parents ever had. His gaze made Gu Shiying uncomfortable. Just be cooperative, she said. After the surgery is done, I'll hold a proper wedding ceremony with you on our 8th anniversary. Fulfill that wedding dream of yours. They had been married for 8 years, legally registered, but without a ceremony. This was the first time Gu Shiying had relented and agreed to have one. But Lu Qian no longer wanted it. He only murmured, I need to use the restroom. Without looking back at Gu Shiying, Lu Qian slowly walked toward the restrooms. Halfway there, he abruptly turned and headed for the exit. He didn't want to donate his kidney. He just wanted to find a place to quietly wait out the next 7 days. However, before Lu Qian could reach the door, Gu Shiying grabbed him from behind. Bad daddy, don't try to run. If you run, Uncle Tao will die. Pan Pan doesn't want him to die. Pan Pan, holding a water gun, squirted it right at Lu Qian's eyes. Lu Qian couldn't tell if it was water or tears streaming down his face. Tao Kai can't die, but what about me? If I die, won't you be sad, Pan Pan? The little girl looked at him with unnerving innocence. If Bad Daddy dies, then Uncle Tao can be my daddy. This was the daughter he had lovingly raised for 6 years. Lu Qian let out a bitter, mocking laugh and turned his head back to face Gu Shiying. I won't donate my kidney to Tao Kai. He doesn't deserve it. Gu Shiying's expression instantly darkened. I knew you wouldn't cooperate. Lu Qian, you can refuse to donate, but what about your good friend? The color drained from Lu Qian's face. What did you do to Lu Yang? The Lu family just signed a major contract with a subsidiary under the Gu family's name. Lu Yang signed it himself. There are plenty of ways to tamper with a contract like that. If I wanted to, sending him to prison wouldn't be difficult. Lu Qian knew she wasn't bluffing. His face turned ashen. After a long moment, he let out a bitter laugh. You win, Gu Shiying. Gu Shiying frowned. You don't have to act like you're the victim here. After the surgery, as long as you stop bothering Akai, I'll live properly with you. But the future Lu Qian envisioned no longer included her. He kept his gaze lowered. I won't run again. But that subsidiary company, the one that signed the contract with the Lu family, you have to transfer all its shares to me. You don't trust me? Afraid I'll take your kidney and still go after Lu Yang. Yes. Give me the share transfer agreement now, and I'll go with you. Otherwise, I'm calling the police immediately. Gu Shiying's face turned livid at his threat. Nevertheless, she instructed her special assistant to draft a share transfer agreement and bring it over. She and Lu Qian signed it on the spot. Lu Qian, I've done as you asked. You'd better not try any more tricks. Lu Qian held the share transfer agreement, a self-deprecating smile playing on his lips. If I were capable of playing tricks, would I be in this miserable state? He truly wished he were a calculating, ruthless villain capable of any evil. That way, at least when Gu Shiying and the others despise him like this, he wouldn't feel so wronged and heartbroken. Seeing him like this, Gu Shiying felt an inexplicable discomfort churn within her. She looked away and dragged him off for the medical examination. But Lu Qian had held on for so long. He was at the end of his rope. He staggered a few steps after her. Then his vision went black, and he collapsed unconscious. Lu Qian was jolted awake by sharp blows. Still pretending, after feigning sleep all day, how could I have given birth to a son like you? If I had known you were so malicious, I should have gotten rid of you from the start. Lu Qian opened his eyes to see his mother, her own eyes red and swollen. He swallowed the taste of blood in his mouth and struggled to sit up, asking numbly, what did I do now? Ever since Tao Kai had come into the Lu family, it had always been like this. Before he even knew what he'd supposedly done wrong, they had already condemned him. Fortunately, there were only 6 days left. Then he wouldn't have to face these biased parents anymore. Smack! Mother Lu struck him again. Still unrepentant. It was bad enough that you always bullied Akai before, but a month ago, you actually pushed him off a cliff. Luckily, Akai is fine. Otherwise, how could I possibly face his biological parents? As Mother Lu spoke, her voice started to break into sobs. Tao Kai coaxed her, Mom, don't cry. You and Dad treat me so well. Little brother is your child. Even if he hurts me again and again, even if he wants me dead, I won't blame him. Mother Lu choked back her tears. My sweet boy. How can you be so kind? Don't talk about dying. It's terribly unlucky. Once Lu Qian donates his kidney to you, you'll live a long and healthy life. The usually taciturn Father Lu also nodded with heartfelt sympathy. Yes. Lu Qian's mouth was full of blood from the slaps, his cheeks burning with stinging pain. Yet no one paid him any mind. The family of three radiated harmony, as if he were merely an insignificant outsider. Since they detested him so much, why had they given birth to him in the first place? Lu Qian wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and let out a sorrowful laugh. Is little brother mocking me for having uremia? I'm already suffering enough. Why must you still treat me this way? Tao Kai declared angrily. Father Lu's brows furrowed. Mother Lu ground her teeth audibly. You rebellious son. Raising her hand, she aimed another slap. Only this time, she was stopped by Gu Shiying. She offered a comforting word to Tao Kai and had Father and Mother Lu take him outside. Lu Qian harbored no illusions. He knew she was merely worried he'd be too damaged, leaving no one to donate a kidney to her beloved. Gu Shiying sneered. Lu Qian, you used to at least put on an act in front of me and my parents. Have you decided you can't even be bothered to pretend anymore? Showing your true colors now. You've already reached your conclusion, so why bother asking me? It wasn't that Lu Qian had stopped pretending. He was simply utterly disappointed in all of them. No one listened to his explanations. They only saw him as quibbling. He no longer wanted to be like a dog before them, wagging his tail and begging for pity. Gu Shiying frowned, displeased, stubbornly unrepentant. Since you're awake, come with me for the preoperative checkup. Lu Qian was weak and walked slowly. She had no patience, dragging him along, causing him to nearly stumble and fall several times. This was a private hospital owned by the Gu family. Soon, a doctor named Jia Chui came out to receive them. Gu Shiying instructed her, Akaya's body can't hold on much longer. Lu Qian's condition doesn't matter, as long as it doesn't affect his ability to donate the kidney to Akai. Understood. Jia Chui finished examining Lu Qian and handed the report to Gu Shiying. Mr. Lu's various indicators are normal. After resting for 2 or 3 days, he can donate the kidney. Lu Qian wasn't surprised by this at all. Previously, when he had donated a kidney, at Gu Shiying's behest, it was Jia Chui who had performed the surgery. It was also she who had distorted the truth afterward, claiming Tao Kai was the donor. He had told Gu Shiying countless times, but she refused to believe him. Gu Shiying clutched the report, her fingertips turning white. Lu Qian has 2 kidneys, correct? Of course. Jia Chui felt a twinge of guilt. But Gu Shiying was staring intently at Lu Qian, completely failing to notice anything amiss with the doctor. She slammed the stack of reports onto Lu Qian's head. And here you were, claiming you only had 1 kidney. I was actually worried for a moment. You lied to me again. The sharp edges of the paper cut Lu Qian's face. He touched the wound, his voice hoarse. I didn't lie. If you just have someone else examine me, the result will be different. Hearing this, Jia Chui's face turned deathly pale. But she didn't even need to defend herself before Gu Shiying burst out furiously. This is the Gu family's hospital? Who would dare lie to me here? The only one who has ever dared to lie to me is you. Lu Qian, I will never again believe a vicious lowlife like you. Think what you will. When Lu Qian used to be misunderstood, he would always defend himself vehemently until his voice was raw. But now he was exhausted, both mentally and physically. He didn't even have the strength left to explain. Gu Shiying was thoroughly exasperated by him. Lu Qian, you should count yourself lucky you're still useful to Akai. Otherwise, you should have died on that deserted island. Compared to death, his current state wasn't much better anyway. Gu Shiying stormed out, infuriated by Lu Qian. He watched the door slam shut. Unlike previous times, he wasn't trembling with fear, wondering what he had done wrong and how he could possibly beg for her forgiveness. For someone who didn't love him, no amount of begging would ever work. Lu Qian ordered a housekeeping service. Go to the address I placed the order for. I'll give you the gate code. My WeChat ID is my phone number. Add me, and keep a video call open. In a moment, just throw away whatever I tell you to. Lu Qian instructed the housekeeping staff to throw out all the matching household items he had bought in pairs, as well as the photo albums of him and Gu Shiying. Then he hired dozens of errand runners and had them dig up every single flower in the lavender manor, leaving it bare. The language of lavender meant waiting for love, and he no longer wanted to wait. Besides, after he left, he didn't want to leave any trace of himself behind. Just as they were nearly finished, Gu Shiying burst into Lu Qian's hospital room, flustered and uneasy. Lu Qian, why did you have people remove all the lavender? And why did you have them throw away the photo albums and all those matching couples things? Didn't you treasure those items the most? Lu Qian's gaze was lowered. I threw them away because I wanted to, dug them up because I wanted to. What about it? Tao Kai, who had entered with Gu Shiying, muttered under his breath. A friend of mine once played hard to get, deliberately throwing away his wife's keepsakes and their couple items, pretending to be completely disheartened. Could little brother be copying him? After saying this, Tao Kai waved his hands frantically. Shiying, I didn't mean little brother is playing hard to get. Please don't misunderstand. The panic in Gu Shiying's eyes faded, replaced only by disdain. Lu Qian, is this the only kind of cheap trick you know? Besides petty jealousy, is there anything else in that head of yours? You begged me and Pampan to take those photos with you. You burned them yourself, so don't regret it. We won't take any more with you. Lu Qian's eyes dimmed. It was my fault. After being disappointed by my parents, I shouldn't have focused all my energy on you and Pampan. If his world hadn't revolved solely around her and Pampan, he wouldn't have contemplated suicide after their betrayal. He truly regretted it. Gu Shiying frowned. There's no need for you to play these hard-to-get games. I promised you that after the surgery is complete, I would hold a belated wedding ceremony for you, and I won't go back on my word. But when she had confessed her feelings to Lu Qian, she'd said she would be good to him for a lifetime. Hadn't she broken that promise too? Gu Shiying's phone rang, and she went outside to answer it. Only Tao Kai and Lu Qian remained in the hospital room. Tao Kai said contemptuously, Shiying said she'd hold a wedding for you and live a good life with you afterward. You didn't actually believe that, did you? She's just coaxing you, so you'll willingly donate a kidney to me. Lu Qian couldn't tell if Tao Kai's words were true or false. After all, Gu Shiying had always been cruel to him. Lu Qian had no inclination to discern the truth either. He didn't want to see Tao Kai's smug, gloating face. Have you said enough? If you're done talking, get out. Lu Qian, how dare you tell me to get out? You got some nerve. Tao Kai cursed angrily, struck his own head with a water cup, grabbed Lu Qian's foretube, and threw himself to the floor. Shiying, help. Little brother is trying to kill me. The needle on the back of Lu Qian's hand was roughly ripped out. Blood spilled out, dripping onto the floor with soft splats. Gu Shiying rushed in. Seeing him like this, a flicker of worry crossed her eyes. But as soon as Tao Kai cried out, he captured all her attention. Shiying, little brother said he regrets not being able to kill me on the deserted island. So just now, he tried to disfigure my face, saying that if I were scarred, you, parents, and Pampan would all hate me. Tao Kai's eyes were red. Gu Shiying hugged him comfortingly, and when she looked at Lu Qian, only resentment remained in her eyes. You are utterly unrepentant. For the new patent you've developed, the authorship credit will be changed to a Kai. Consider it your compensation. Lu Qian was an employee of the Gu Corporation. The new patent was currently in his hands, and he had the capability to change the authorship credit. Lu Qian had thought that no matter what she did, it would no longer rouse any emotion in him. But hearing these words, he was still on the verge of collapse. You can't do this. This new patent cost me 5 years of hard work. It's my lifeblood. You can't just steal it like this. He had already given everything to Tao Kai, even his life. Why do they have to steal even his patent? Tao Kai, red-eyed, said, Anyway, this isn't the first time little brother has bullied me. He seems to care a lot about the patent. Shiying, maybe I shouldn't take it. Gu Shiying patted his hand gently. This is what he owes you. Gu Shiying's cruelty was soul-crushing. Not only did she let Tao Kai steal Lu Qian's patent, but she also invited Lu Qian to the corporate awards ceremony the next day. On the way there, Lu Qian argued with Gu Shiying, even going so far as to kneel and beg her to return the patent. But she remained unmoved. He could only stand below the stage, watching Tao Kai steal his glory. Tao Kai delivered his acceptance speech with great emotion, concluding, To have my efforts recognized makes it all worthwhile. I hope my younger brother can also share my good fortune and become a useful member of society. The entire audience was praising Tao Kai. Mr. Tao actually developed something so amazing. He possesses both talent and looks. No wonder Mr. and Mrs. Lu love him, their adopted son, more. He truly is outstanding. He's the one truly suited for CEO Gu. Lu Qian bullied classmates in school, tormented his adopted brother, has a chaotic private life, and is completely inept. If he hadn't drugged CEO Gu, how could he become the Gu family's son-in-law? He went to great lengths to marry CEO Gu, but she clearly despises him. Their child is already quite old, yet they haven't even had a wedding. Whenever CEO Gu needs an escort for an event, she always asks Tao Kai. For everyone praising Tao Kai at the ceremony, there was someone disparaging Lu Qian, covered in chilblains, so thin he looked like a skeleton draped in skin, wearing an ill-fitting evening suit. He resembled a buffoon. Father Lu frowned deeply upon seeing him, not even offering a greeting, only smiling and pulling Tao Kai close, calling him a good son. Mother Lu flushed crimson with embarrassment. She rushed over, slapped the small cake out of Lu Qian's hand, and snapped angrily. Can't you just leave? Stop embarrassing us here. You've utterly disgraced my old face. If Mr. and Mrs. Lu find me embarrassing, you can disown me. I'm fine with that. Lu Qian picked up another small cake, stuffing it into his mouth with vacant eyes. Lu Yang had said eating something sweet when sad would make one feel better. But he had eaten so much. Why did his heart still ache with such bitterness? Mother Lu, face red with anger, snatched the cake from his hand, threw it on the floor, and this time stomped on it until it was ruined. Eat, eat, eat. All you know is eating. You don't even call us mom and dad anymore. Do you really think we'd hesitate to disown you? What terrible luck for 8 lifetimes to have given birth to a little beast like you. She stormed off indignantly. Lu Qian watched her retreating back and murmured softly, You're willing to let me die. What wouldn't you be willing to part with? He called out to the system in his mind. Can the mission start early? He was scheduled for obliteration in 5 days, but he couldn't even bear these next 5 days. The system's voice remained as mechanical and emotionless as ever. The obliteration time for the strategy mission cannot be changed. Lu Qian endured until the end of the awards ceremony before Gu Shuriying allowed him to leave. Have you learned your lesson this time? She asked. Lu Qian was too exhausted. Sitting in the car, he didn't want to say a single word, merely nodding. He had learned his lesson long ago and had already decided to leave. Gu Shuriying ruffled his hair, her voice unusually gentle. If you had just been this obedient earlier, wouldn't things have been better? Lu Qian had no energy to deal with her. But this woman, who had always detested him and hated him bringing up their past, now initiated the topic herself. Lu Qian, 8 years ago, you shouldn't have drugged me. Even if my family disapproved, I was prepared to marry you. Even more so, you shouldn't have been so ruthless, repeatedly plotting against Akai. He saved my life. Doing that, where did that leave me? But that's all in the past now. It's been 8 years. I don't want to keep fighting with you anymore. After you and Akai finish the surgery, as long as you don't do anything to hurt Akai again, I will hold a proper wedding ceremony with you, and we can live our lives well together from now on. In the past, hearing these words from her, Lu Qian probably would have been moved to tears. But now, he only found it all incredibly ironic. Lu Qian said mockingly, There is no from now on. After the surgery, I will die. Hearing this, Gu Shuriying's expression instantly darkened. She slammed on the brakes. The doctors have already examined you and confirmed you're fine. Yet here you are, still talking nonsense about dying. Lu Qian, do you really think I'll fall for your tricks again? Get out. Lu Qian had no phone and no money, and was only wearing a thin evening suit. Getting out of the car, he could only walk back to the hospital, cold and exhausted. He didn't want to endure this hardship, but Gu Shuriying dragged him out. Her disgust for him was never concealed. Gu Shuriying. Lu Qian, unwilling to give up, chased the car for a few steps before stumbling and falling to the ground. The car didn't even stop. Utterly disheartened, Lu Qian picked himself up, shivering from the cold and hugging himself tightly. He borrowed a phone from a passerby. His first call was to his good brother, Lu Yang. Lu Yang didn't answer. Hesitantly, he called his parents. The moment they recognized his voice, they hung up immediately, not even giving him a chance to speak. Amidst the curious and pitying glances of passersby, Lu Qian called Pan Pan next. Pan Pan, it's Daddy. I'm across from the KFC on Yu Road right now, and I don't have money for a taxi. Can you help me? Pan Pan was only 6, but relaying a message to the family driver or even getting a taxi to pick him up would definitely be no problem for her. But Pan Pan resisted, saying, I want to play with Uncle Tao. I don't have time to find Bad Daddy. Lu Qian, but if I stay out in the cold too long, I'll get sick and it will be very uncomfortable. Pan Pan giggled, full of anticipation. Then will Bad Daddy get sick and die? If you die, Uncle Tao can be my daddy. Lu Qian took a deep, trembling breath and hung up the phone himself. A child's innocence can sometimes be the most cutting. 5 more days before he could leave. It felt like such a long, long time. Lu Qian gazed at the long road, having already decided to walk back when Lu Yang called him back. After getting the address, Lu Yang quickly arrived, looking travel-worn. Seeing Lu Qian, Lu Yang's eyes reddened instantly. He took off his overcoat and draped it over Lu Qian's shoulders. Ah Qian, I've been looking for you for a month. I couldn't find you anywhere. I was going crazy with worry. How did you get so thin? Standing out here dressed like this, aren't you cold? What happened to the back of your hand? It looks like a piece of flesh was torn off, and there are so many needle marks. Were you sick? Getting in for drip? How did you get so many chilblains? Does it hurt? Is it unbearable? Towards the end, he was choked with sobs, unable to speak. Seeing him cry, Lu Qian felt bad too. Don't cry, Lu Yang, I'm fine. It's too cold. Can I go to your place for a while? He didn't want to see Gu Shiying and the others right now. Wherever they were, he always felt despair and pain. Okay. Lu Yang wiped away his tears, helped Lu Qian into the car, and drove to his house. Lu Qian held a hand warmer and drank several cups of hot water before he stopped shivering violently from the cold. He told Lu Yang everything that had happened over the past month. Lu Yang was furious, his face flushed red, breathing heavily. Gu Shiying, that little bitch. If she hadn't been so good to you before, swearing up and down that she would never be like your parents, favoring that pretty boy, I would never have watched you marry her. And that little brat. Her health was poor. You took care of her 24 hours a day, painstakingly nursing her back to health. And now she's just like her trashy mother, forcing you to donate a kidney. They're forcing you to die. Let my family go bankrupt if it has to. You're not allowed to donate your kidney to that pretty boy. Ah Qian, I can't watch you die. Lu Qian said miserably. Lu Yang, listen to me. I'm from another world. I only came to this world to complete a capture target mission to save my fiancée. The capture target mission failed. Whether I donate the kidney or not, I have to die. Lu Yang broke down crying. Isn't there any way for you to survive? Lu Qian shook his head. Gu Shiying and Ponpon's affection level for me are both 0. There's absolutely no room left to turn this around. It's okay. Just a moment of pain, and then I'll be free forever. In 5 days, I won't have to constantly try to please others anymore. Maybe I'll even get to see my fiancée in the underworld. Congratulate me, Lu Yang. Just as Lu Qian was comforting him, Gu Shiying knocked, burst in, and seized his hand forcefully. Her nails dug into his flesh, making him wince in pain. Lu Yang flared up instantly, about to explode. Lu Qian stopped him with a look. Lu Yang, I'm leaving. Get some rest. He was roughly dragged into the car by Gu Shiying. Who told you to run off? Do you know how long I've been looking for you? How worried I was? Lu Qian merely said flatly, if I didn't leave, should I have just stood there and waited to freeze to death? I would have gone back for you. Oh, Lu Qian only acknowledged her words, not arguing, but not believing her either. 5 years ago, on New Year's Eve, she abandoned him alone on a mountaintop to deliver cold medicine to Tao Kai. 3 years ago, Tao Kai said he felt terrible after being scolded by his boss. She went to find him, leaving Lu Qian waiting for her all night in the pouring rain. A month ago, mistakenly believing he had hurt Tao Kai, she abandoned him on a deserted island. She had abandoned him for Tao Kai too many times. Each time, he had believed she would come back for him. Gu Shiying clearly recalled those past incidents too, saying awkwardly, this time is different. Lu Qian nodded. Understand. This time, as the donor providing a kidney for Tao Kai, you have to show me some concern along the way. Gu Shiying irritably slammed her hand on the steering wheel, letting out a sharp honk. Lu Qian, you don't need to be so sarcastic. I told you after this surgery is done, we'll live a good life together. Gu Shiying, I will die after the surgery. We have no future. Before I die, let's get a divorce. Lu Qian interrupted her. Actually, this wasn't the first time they had brought up divorce. It was just that before, she was always the one mentioning it. But this time, he was the one asking for it. Silence filled the car for a long time. Not until they got out of the hospital did Gu Shiying, suppressing her anger, demand, why bring up divorce all of a sudden? Just because you were being sarcastic today, and I told you to get out of the car. This isn't the first time something like this has happened. Are you really bringing up divorce over this? Or did you find out I plan to postpone the wedding? Is that why you're making a fuss? Lu Qian froze. You're going to postpone the wedding. Gu Shiying, Kai, to thank you for donating your kidney, wants to be your best man. But he'll need time to recover after the surgery. If we hold the wedding on our 8th anniversary, he definitely won't have recovered properly, so I plan to postpone it. Lu Qian had long stopped looking forward to the makeup wedding ceremony. But hearing her say she was postponing it because of Tao Kai still felt incredibly ironic. Lu Qian clutched the corner of his clothes, too weary to argue. Let's just say it is. Gu Shiying said irritably. Is it that serious? Postponing the wedding is unavoidable. Kai initially suggested delaying it for a year. Isn't delaying it by only 6 months enough? If you're still not satisfied, worst comes to worst, I'll hold multiple ceremonies for you. That should be acceptable, right? I won't live that long. Before I die, I just want a divorce. Lu Qian didn't want to still be her husband when he died. Gu Shiying was thoroughly enraged. The doctors have already checked you. You have 2 kidneys. Donating one won't kill you. You never stop lying. I've really had enough of you. She didn't even enter his hospital room, heading straight for Tao Kai's room across the hall. Lu Qian sometimes really didn't understand her. She was the one who had desperately wanted a divorce before. Now that he mentioned it, she was unwilling. The door to the opposite room wasn't closed. Standing in the corridor, Lu Qian saw Gu Shiying, who was usually impatient with him, gently asking Tao Kai, "How are you feeling today? You must tell me right away if you feel any discomfort." Playful Pan Pan, her face full of worry, said, "Uncle Tao, you must get better quickly. You still have to be Pon Pon's daddy." Lu Qian's mother, who loved to complain, said with smiling eyes, "Look at Shiying and Kai standing together, just like a family of 3. His stern father also wore a look of gratification. No one saw Lu Qian standing just 2 meters away from them. Or perhaps they saw him but didn't care. Lu Qian lowered his head and returned to his own hospital room. Ding, 12 o'clock. For more days, and he wouldn't have to face these people who caused him pain anymore. He prayed for the umpteenth time, let time pass faster. Lu Qian barely slept that night. Early the next morning, he took the prepared will to be notarized. After his death, all his inheritance would go to Lu Yang. He had just finished the notarization when someone shouted from behind, "Lu Qian, you unfilial son, you've done a terrible thing." Lu Qian turned instinctively. His mother, eyes red, stared at him and slapped him right across the face. "Knowing Akai is critically ill, on the verge of death, you still dare to run away. How could I have given birth to such a vicious creature like you?" Lu Qian's face burned, and his heart sank to the depths. "I didn't run away, I just came out to take care of something." Still trying to argue, Pan Pan said she saw you sneaking out early this morning. Lu Mu raised her hand to strike again, but Lu Qian grabbed her wrist. "If you dare hit anyone again, I'll call the police immediately." He had had enough of her indiscriminate blame, striking him every time without finding out the truth. "You, oh heavens, why isn't it you, this bastard, who's dying of uremia? Our Akai is so kind, why must he suffer from this disease?" Lu Mu snatched her hand back, sobbing loudly. Gu Shiying rushed over, her face dark as she grabbed Lu Qian. "Lu Qian, you ran away again. You wanted the branch company's shares, I already gave them to you. Yet you still want to evade the responsibility of donating a kidney to Akai. You despicable creature, are you trying to drag Akai to his death?" Lu Qian wrenched his arm free, saying wearily, "I'll say it one more time, I didn't run away. I only came out to get my will notarized." "You're just donating a kidney, you won't die, why get will notarized? Do you think I believe such a clumsy excuse?" Gu Shiying grabbed Lu Qian and roughly shoved him into the car. "I was originally planning to let you rest for a few days before the donation, but you couldn't stay put. Now you're going back to the hospital for the kidney donation surgery." The car doors were locked, and the engine started. Lu Qian couldn't leave even if he wanted to. He licked his dry lips and said, "Can we wait another 4 days?" Gu Shiying's expression was scornful. "Stalling for time, so you can find another chance to run away?" "No, I will die in 4 days. It won't be too late for you to perform an autopsy and take the kidney then." The system had said that after being eliminated for failing the mission, considering humanitarian grounds, he could have a painless death. That way, he wouldn't have to suffer the agony of dying from having his kidney cut out. But Gu Shiying coldly refused. "Do you think you're the Grim Reaper, able to predict your own death? Lu Qian, give up on stalling for time. I won't give you another chance to escape." Upon reaching the hospital, Lu Qian was dragged out of the car and pulled all the way to the operating room. Though both were heading into surgery, he and Tao Kai received vastly different treatment. Gu Shiying, along with Father Lu, Mother Lu, and Pan Pan, all gathered around Tao Kai, fussing over him with concern. Lu Qian stood alone nearby, watching, ignored by everyone. Only just before entering the operating room did Gu Shiying walk over, frowning. "Why are you sweating so much? It's just a minor surgery. Are you really that scared?" She took out a tissue, intending to wipe his forehead. But Lu Qian dodged, wiping it himself with his hand. Everyone fears death, myself included. Even though he was prepared to die, he was still afraid. Gu Shiying fought back her anger, then restrained it. "Are you done playing the victim? How many times do I have to tell you? It's just donating 1 kidney, you won't die." And how many times did he have to tell her that he had already donated 1 kidney to her, and donating another would kill him. Lu Qian lowered his gaze, having no heart to argue further. Seeing him like this, Gu Shiying felt an inexplicable panic. She rarely softened her stance before him. Lu Qian, I'm serious. We've been fighting for 8 years. I don't want to fight with you anymore. When you're upset, I don't feel good either. This time you donate the kidney, and I'll consider the score between you and Akai settled. When you come out of surgery, stop bullying Akai, and stop telling lies all the time. Let's live a good life together. When Akai recovers enough to be the best man, I'll officially hold a make-up wedding ceremony for you, okay? If Gu Shiying had said this before, Lu Qian would have wept with joy. Whatever mistakes she had made in the past, he could forgive her. But now, his heart felt not a ripple of emotion, only revulsion. I'm going to die after the surgery. What wedding ceremony? What life together? Fine, you don't want a wedding, right? Lu Qian, after your surgery, even if you kneel and beg me, I will never hold a make-up wedding ceremony with you in this lifetime. Gu Shiying's anger finally flared, her eyes looking like she wanted to devour him. But Lu Qian no longer cared about her feelings. Gu Shiying, I hope that whether it's after my death, or in any future reincarnation, life after life, I never want to meet you again. Before the operating room door closed completely, Lu Qian glanced at Gu Shiying holding Tao Kai in her arms, then at Mother Lu, Father Lu, and Pan Pan sincerely praying for Tao Kai. Becoming their loved one and family member was the most painful thing in his life. Fortunately, it was all about to end. For the rest of our lives, let us never meet again. The surgery began. Anesthetic flowed into his body, easing the pain considerably. Lu Qian's consciousness turned hazy, yet in the murky fog, he could still feel his body being cut open. A kidney was removed. Damn it! The patient's blood pressure and heart rate are plummeting, someone shouted. Beep beep. The sharp alarm of the monitors pierced the air, and chaos erupted in the operating room. In the final moment before Lu Qian's life faded, he saw the operating room door pushed open and Gu Shiying rush in, frantic. Her face was deathly pale, her mouth moving, screaming something desperately. But he could no longer hear. Who did I hear you say had unstable vital signs? Was it Akai? Gu Shiying burst into the operating room, extremely anxious. Lu Qian had always been healthy. He must be fine, so it had to be Akai. But on the operating tables, both faces were covered by sterile drapes. It was impossible to tell who was who. She couldn't understand the numbers on the monitors at all. Hearing Tao Kai was in danger, Mother Lu and the others also rushed in frantically. Jia Chui, sweating profusely, anxiously tried to usher them out. Everyone out. The surgery is still ongoing. Everything is going smoothly for now. The operating room door closed again. Gu Shiying stood guard outside, an inexplicable panic and unease gripping her heart, as if she were about to lose something vitally important. She frowned and pounded her chest, but the suffocating feeling only intensified. Somehow, Gu Shiying suddenly recalled something from long ago. She and Lu Qian had met while feeding stray cats. He would always carry a load of canned cat food, feeding the cats without a word, not petting them, just silently watching them bury their heads in the food. A faint melancholy always seemed to surround him. Even standing in a bustling crowd, he seemed detached from the world, lonely and desolate. Gu Shiying had bumped into him several times and couldn't help but be curious. He looked barely adult. What could he possibly have experienced to become like this? Curiosity is the beginning of falling in love. Lu Qian looked withdrawn, but he was easy to get along with. Show him a little kindness, and he'd practically want to give his whole heart to others. After chatting with him a few times, Gu Shiying learned he was the only son in his family. Initially a beloved young master doted on by his parents. But when he was 5, his family adopted Tao Kai. From then on, Tao Kai replaced him, becoming the cherished darling of the family. And he became the notorious bad child, known to all as unloved by his parents. Gu Shiying couldn't pinpoint exactly when she started to fall for him. By the time she realized it, her gaze had already grown accustomed to following his figure. The feeling was strange. He was right beside her, yet she couldn't help but miss him. Every time his parents reprimanded him, and he was heartbroken, her own heart ached with him, sharing his sorrow. When they were 18, Gu Shiying confessed her feelings to him with immense trepidation. The day Lu Qian agreed to be her boyfriend, she was so happy she couldn't sleep for nights. Lu Qian, it doesn't matter if your parents don't love you. I will love you forever. She thought they would naturally get married, have children, and live happily ever after. But when Gu Shiying turned 23, her family somehow found out about Lu Qian's existence and forced her to break up with him. Lu Qian is the husband I've chosen. I won't marry anyone but him. Don't listen to those baseless rumors outside. Lu Qian is gentle, kind, and pure. He's absolutely not like the rumors say. For Lu Qian's sake, Gu Shiying turned her home upside down. But on her 23rd birthday, Lu Qian drugged and slept with her, even calling a horde of reporters, all to force the marriage. Gu Mu mocked him, drugging and raping someone, using moral blackmail to climb up. This is your pure boyfriend. It was a stinging slap across Gu Shiying's face. For the first time, she realized she didn't understand the boyfriend she had loved for years at all. However much she had loved Lu Qian before, that's how much she hated him after discovering his deception. Asterisk click. Asterisk. The sound of the operating room door opening interrupted Gu Shiying's memories. Jia Chui, dressed in a white coat, walked out. Mr. Tao's surgery was very successful. Mr. Lu. Hearing the first half of the sentence, Gu Shiying let out a huge sigh of relief. As long as Akai was all right. As for Lu Qian, he was strong as an ox. There was absolutely no need to worry. Mother Lu excitedly cut Jia Chui off. Lu Qian isn't important. As long as Akai can get well. Thank heavens. She and Father Lu rushed towards Tao Kai's transfer bed, swarming around him. Not a single person paid any attention to Lu Qian. Gu Shiying did feel a slight flicker of concern, but she merely glanced towards the operating room before following them towards Tao Kai's ward. What Lu Qian had said before entering surgery had angered her greatly. She didn't want to deal with him right now. She was waiting for him to realize his mistake and come begging for her forgiveness. As Gu Shiying was thinking this, her phone suddenly rang. Hello, is this CEO Gu? Mr. Lu. Gu Shiying stated coldly. What happens to him has nothing to do with me. Before Lu Qian donated his kidney, he was constantly demanding a divorce, spewing harsh words, acting as if he wished they'd never cross paths again for the rest of their lives. Now that the surgery's done and no one's paying him any mind, he knows to look for her. She had simply been too tolerant of Lu Qian these past few days, which was why he dared to push his luck like this. Gu Shiying resolved to give him the cold shoulder and hung up the phone directly. But soon, a nurse came to her room looking for her. President Gu, Mr. Lu went. Before the nurse could finish, Gu Shiying furiously smashed her water cup. I said what happens to him has nothing to do with me. Are you incapable of understanding plain language? If you can't even handle something this simple, then you don't need to work in this hospital anymore. The young nurse was frightened into trembling. Not daring to utter another word, she turned and left. Mother Lu frowned. Lu Qian has always been petty since he was a child. He probably saw President Gu tending to Akai and got jealous, so he deliberately sent someone to call for you. How annoying. Pan Pan looked at her expectantly. Grandma, is Bad Daddy dead yet? It would be better if he really did just die like that. Unfortunately, scourges live for 1,000 years. Even if I die, he'll still be living just fine. Hearing Mother Lu say this, Pan Pan was extremely disappointed. Gu Shiying watched the grandmother and grandchild. It wasn't the first time they had spoken of Lu Qian this way, but it was the first time she felt a sense of unease and discomfort. She stood up and went outside, wanting to get some air. Just then, she saw a body covered with a white sheet being wheeled over. Who knew which unlucky soul had suffered a failed surgery? Gu Shiying merely glanced at it before averting her gaze and continuing back to the ward to watch over Tao Kai. If only Lu Qian possessed even 1,000th of his kindness and thoughtfulness, their 8-year marriage wouldn't have ended up like that. A day later, Tao Kai finally woke up. He woke up crying. What's wrong? Did you have a nightmare? Gu Shiying was deeply concerned. Because of the things Lu Qian had done to Tao Kai, she always felt a degree of guilt towards him. Tears streamed down Tao Kai's face as he cried. Yes, I dreamt of the past years when I was bullied by my younger brother. I also dreamt he said that, even after giving me his kidney, he would tamper with my medicine. He absolutely won't let me live well. Mother Lu was furious. That damn creature. Bullying you for so long has left you traumatized. I'll drag him over here right now to kneel and apologize to you. Tao Kai said, There's no need, Mom. Brother donated his kidney to me, and I'm already very grateful. I'm not the kind of person who repays kindness with malice, unlike him. How can you be so kind? There, don't cry. Mom is here watching over you. I absolutely won't let anything happen to you. Mother Lu hugged him, crying herself. Tao Kai cried too, but I'm really so scared. I want to find a small island to hide on, somewhere my brother can't find me. Seeing him cry like this, Gu Shiying's heart ached too. Then go to the small island I bought. I'll transfer the ownership to you. Shuriying, wasn't that island originally intended as a wedding gift for your brother? Is it really okay to give it to me? Tao Kai's eyes were red as he looked at her, full of anticipation. She dismissed his concern casually. Lu Qian owes you. Their large group, everyone except Lu Qian, departed for the island that very day. It wasn't the deserted island where Lu Qian had previously suffered a life worse than death, but a resort island meant for vacations. Gu Shuriying, intending to give Lu Qian the cold shoulder, deliberately accompanied Tao Kai to recuperate on the island for 3 months. During this time, Pan Pan asked him more than once to be his father. Seeing that Gu Shuriying didn't object, Mother Lu teased her. Akai and President Gu look much more compatible together, and Pan Pan clearly wants Akai to be his father too. Has President Gu ever considered changing husbands? Tao Kai stood with his hands in his pockets, his eyes filled with anticipation. But because of these words, Gu Shuriying flared up at Mother Lu for the first time. Trying to set up your own daughter-in-law with your adopted son? Madam Lu, you really dare to say anything. I have no intention of remarrying, so please refrain from saying such disgusting things in the future. Gu Shuriying did resent Lu Qian for scheming against her and for the things he had done to Tao Kai. Yet, even after resenting him for 8 years, she still couldn't quite let him go. She had already decided to reconcile with Lu Qian, planning to live a good life together from now on. After speaking, Gu Shuriying ignored the embarrassed Mother Lu and Tao Kai and strode away. Their mentioning Lu Qian suddenly reminded Gu Shuriying. After the kidney donation surgery, she had been waiting for Lu Qian to proactively soften his stance towards her, to ask her to reschedule their wedding ceremony. But for 3 consecutive months, she hadn't received a single call or message from him. He had never been like this before. It was as if he suddenly didn't care about her anymore. Gu Shuriying remembered Lu Qian's cold indifference when he spoke of divorce, and a sudden panic seized her. She called Lu Qian. Previously, he always answered instantly, but this time, she called 3 times in a row, and no one picked up. Gu Shuriying scrolled through her contacts for a long while before finding Lu Qian's WeChat. What tantrum are you throwing now? Is it because I didn't stay with you after your surgery? After a while, there was no reply. Suppressing her irritation, she asked again. Or is it because I didn't spend our 8th anniversary with you 2 months ago? Or perhaps the wedding postponement made you unhappy? Could it be because I wasn't there for your birthday? Gu Shuriying felt she had already compromised more than enough. But no matter which message she sent, there was no response. Gu Shuriying's panic intensified. She made a call to Lu Yang. Where's Lu Qian? Dead. Do you want to see his body? And Lu Qian considered you a good friend? Does he know you wish him dead? You. Beep, beep, beep. This was the first time Gu Shuriying had ever been hung up on. She frowned and redialed, only to find she had been blocked. Seething, Gu Shuriying immediately called her special assistant. Investigate Lu Qian's whereabouts for me now. She wanted to see just what tricks he was playing this time. The assistant cautiously replied, but, Mr. Lu passed away 3 months ago. Even his identity information has been deregistered. Gu Shuriying refused to believe it. Nonsense. If he were dead, how come his parents and I weren't notified? Did you see his body? No. The hospital said the body was taken by Lu Yang. That's his best friend. All those shady little schemes of his, they cooked them up together. This must be another one of their games, faking his death. Gu Shuriying flew back that very day. She had always believed Lu Qian was just playing hard to get, but she called Lu Qian dozens more times, and no one answered. Her messages went unread. Her attempts to track Lu Qian's movements yielded nothing. It was as if he had vanished into thin air. Gu Shuriying remembered Lu Qian throwing out all his belongings from their home, leveling the Lavender Manor, mentioning divorce more than once. She suddenly realized that this time, he wasn't playing some little trick, he was serious. Gu Shuriying suddenly panicked. Even when she hated Lu Qian the most, she had never considered breaking up with him. But it seemed he had truly given up on her, intending to leave her for good. Gu Shuriying regretted it now. She didn't want to hate him or resent him anymore for the things he had done. She still wanted to be with him. At worst, she would just be more guarded around him from now on, no longer giving him opportunities to scheme against her and Tao Kai. Having made up her mind, Gu Shuriying rushed to Lu Yang's house in a fluster, shedding her usual haughty attitude. Can you please tell me where Lu Qian is? Lu Yang raged. Now you remember to look for him? Where were you when he came out of the operating room? And in the 3 months after his surgery, where were you then? You were damn well keeping Tao Kai company. Are you his wife, or are you Qian's wife? Lu Yang unleashed a torrent of accusations, his tone harsh. Gu Shuriying couldn't stand his attitude, but suppressed her anger. Perhaps I went a bit too far before, but Lu Qian was also at fault first. Look, let's each take a step back. Lu Qian faked his death just because he resented me postponing the wedding, right? I can hold it in 3 days. Just have him come home with me. Lu Qian had only given up and started talking about divorce after learning she postponed the wedding. That must have angered him the most. So, she would satisfy him, reschedule the wedding sooner. Lu Yang looked at her with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. You sincerely want to reschedule the wedding? Yes. All right, then Qian will attend. After saying this, Lu Yang slammed the door shut. But Gu Shiying breathed a huge sigh of relief. Lu Yang was Lu Qian's best friend. If he agreed on Lu Qian's behalf, Lu Qian would definitely come. Gu Shiying began preparing for the wedding in a flurry. She sent messages to Lu Qian. Which suit do you like? Which host? Which wedding decoration plan do you prefer? Gu Shiying sent a pile of pictures, but Lu Qian never replied. It didn't matter, though. When she first got together with Lu Qian at 18, they had constantly fantasized about their wedding. He had picked out countless suits and mentioned many ideas for the ceremony. Gu Shiying had forgotten what he'd said, but she had the chat logs. He had already planned every aspect of the wedding. She just needed to implement them. However, 3 days was too short, and Tao Kai wasn't feeling well. So Gu Shiying had to spend time with him, leaving even less time for wedding preparations. The final result looked a bit simple, but it was fine. The priority was to coax Lu Qian back. They could always have a more elaborate ceremony later. The night before the wedding, Gu Shiying was too excited to sleep. On the wedding day, the ceremony time arrived, but calls to Lu Qian went unanswered, messages unread. Anxious, she borrowed a phone to call Lu Yang directly. Why isn't Lu Qian here yet? Is he going to stand me up? What's the rush? Isn't he here now? As Lu Yang's voice came through, a shocked commotion erupted at the entrance of a hall. Gu Shiying, standing on the stage, looked towards the door. Lu Yang, dressed in black, led the way. Behind him, 6 men in black pushed an ice coffin. The coffin wasn't covered, and cold air still wafted out. And Lu Qian's body lay quietly inside, covered in a layer of frost. Gu Shiying stared blankly at the scene, her mind exploding into emptiness, leaving only a buzzing sound in her ears. Lu Yang watched Gu Shiying from afar. Weren't you asking to see Aikian? I brought him. But let me make it clear, he doesn't love you anymore, and there's no way he'd renew your wedding vows with you. I came for one reason only. Before Aikian died, his regret was not being able to divorce you. He signed the divorce papers and asked me to give them to you. Every word he spoke was like a knife twisting in Gu Shiying's heart. Her face turned pale as she shook her head. Impossible. Lu Qian was fine. How could he be dead? I don't believe it. She had already prepared herself, ready to let go of the past and build a good life with him. Why would he suddenly die? It had to be fake, right? Yes. Lu Qian must be tricking her again. Did you deliberately buy a corpse and make it look like Lu Qian? You can't fool me. Gu Shiying threw down her bouquet and stumbled towards the ice coffin, staring intently at the face within. But it was undeniably Lu Qian's face. He must just look very similar to Lu Qian. Lu Qian has a birthmark on his shoulder. Gu Shiying reached to check the corpse's shoulder. Upon seeing the flower-shaped, dark red birthmark, her throat felt choked as if stuffed with blood-soaked cotton, rendering her speechless. A cloying, metallic taste surged in her mouth. Clutching her chest, she sprayed a mouthful of blood onto Lu Qian's body. Shiying, Mom! Tao Kai and Pampan cried out in worry together. Lu Yang, however, stepped forward and shoved Gu Shiying violently away. Aikian already told you he donated a kidney to you, but you chose to believe that schemer Tao Kai and thought Aikian was lying. You were the one who forced Aikian to donate a kidney to Tao Kai. You killed him, and now you're here feigning deep affection. Gu Shiying fell to the ground, her forehead striking the ice coffin, leaving a large, red welt. Yet, she barely registered the pain. She scrambled up, glaring at Tao Kai through gritted teeth. Tao Kai, you claimed you were the one who donated a kidney to me back then. Then why is Lu Qian the one left with only one kidney? Speak. When she had forced Lu Qian to agree to the donation, he must have known he would die. When he died, did he hate her with all his being? The mere thought sent a pain so sharp through Gu Shiying's heart that she could barely breathe. Tao Kai flinched, stammering. Lu Yang, I know you and little brother hate me, but do you hate me so much that even with him dead, you have to pin crime on me? To frame me, did little brother have you get rid of his other kidney? When Mrs. Lu saw Lu Qian's body, she had been completely stunned. Hearing Tao Kai's words now, she finally snapped back to reality. Shielding Tao Kai, she raged. Lu Qian bullied Kai when he was alive, and now even in death, he won't let him be? Akai is kind-hearted. Does that mean he deserves to be bullied by you time and again? You. Lu Yang cut her off, unable to bear it any longer. Shut up, you fool. You favored Tao Kai for so many years, repeatedly suppressing your own son for his sake. Do you even know the person you're protecting is your husband's illegitimate son? He produced a paternity test report and threw it directly in Mrs. Lu's face. If you don't believe it, go get another test done yourself. Mrs. Lu stared at the report, her face drained of color. Our illegitimate son? How can this be? Lu Yang sneered. His birth mother is the one Mr. Xiang truly loved. Her name is Jia Chui. You know her too. She was the one who personally removed Akian's first kidney to donate to Gu Shuriying, then twisted the truth, claiming Tao Kai was the donor. She was also the one who lied, saying Akian met the conditions to donate a kidney to Tao Kai, removed Akian's second kidney, and killed him. Don't accuse Akian and me of framing Tao Kai using death. We're not that despicable. Jia Chui was arrested 3 months ago for intentional homicide. You can ask at the police station. The wedding venue dissolved into chaos, buzzing with hushed conversations. My God, Lu Qian's fate is too tragic. He donated a kidney to save CEO Gu, only to be forced to his death by her hand. No wonder Lu Qian regretted not finalizing the divorce before he died. He must have completely given up hope on Gu Shuriying. Having a mother like Mrs. Lu Qian was truly unfortunate, forcing her own biological son to his death for her husband's illegitimate child. Lin Yue is such an idiot. Lu Qian must have been utterly heartbroken before he died. Hearing the murmurs pierced Gu Shuriying's heart. The make-up wedding ceremony had become a complete farce. Gu Shuriying dismissed all the guests, then called the police station to verify Lu Yang's claims. Jia Chui did indeed falsify the patient's medical condition. Knowing the patient possessed only one kidney, she nevertheless proceeded with the kidney donation surgery. She confessed herself that it was to save her son, Tao Kai. When Gu Shuriying hung up the phone, her hands were trembling. Lu Qian had told her she could find another doctor, get another checkup, but she had assumed he was lying and had even mocked him for it. What on earth had she done? Ah Qian, my son, it was all Mom's fault for blaming you. Ah Qian. Lu Qian's mother couldn't accept the truth. She wailed and fainted on spot. Gu Shuriying stared intently at Tao Kai, her gaze murderous. It was Lu Qian who donated the kidney to me. Why did you say it was you? You knew he only had one kidney left. Why did you still force him to donate it to you? Were you deliberately trying to kill him? Tao Kai knelt on the floor, stammering. I had no choice. Gu Shuriying bent down, grabbing his throat. Still lying. Tao Kai's voice choked with sobs. I'm not. Sob. My birth mother, Jia Chui, took compromising photos of me being assaulted by man. She forced me to steal the credit for my brother donating the kidney to you. Making my brother donate the kidney, getting rid of him, that was her idea too. She hated my adoptive mother for taking her place as Mrs. Lu, so she wanted to kill my brother for revenge. She also said that with only me left as dad's son, the family fortune would all be mine. I was afraid she would expose the fact that I'd been assaulted by a man, that I'd be too ashamed to face anyone. I couldn't help it. Because of this, I felt incredibly guilty. That's why when my brother bullied me repeatedly, even trying to push me off a cliff to kill me, I never called the police. Gu Shuriying took a deep breath, released Tao Kai, and walked towards Lu Qian with red-rimmed eyes. Her hand trembled as she reached out to touch his face. But before she could make contact, Lu Yang slapped her hand away. So Tao Kai bullied Ah Qian like that, and you just let him off? He was flushed with anger. Tao Kai was bullied by Lu Qian since childhood and threatened by his adoptive mother. He's a pitiful person too. Gu Shuriying, I finally understand why Ah Qian wanted to divorce you even in death. You are utterly unworthy of being his wife. Lu Yang gritted his teeth, threw down the divorce papers, and ordered people to wheel the ice coffin away. Gu Shuriying rushed over, clutching the ice coffin. You can't take him away. He's my husband. But he was completely disheartened by you long ago. He entrusted the rights to his remains and final arrangements to me. Now that Jia Chui has been arrested and the forensic examiner has collected the necessary evidence, it's time for me to handle his funeral. No, you can't take him away. Gu Shuriying was consumed by regret. Regret that when Lu Qian said donating another kidney would kill him, she hadn't believed him. Now that he was dead, she couldn't bear the thought of him leaving her in another form. Lu Yang looked at her coldly. Ms. Gu, if you obstruct me from taking Ah Qian back any further, I will call the police. Finding the situation deeply embarrassing, The Gu family members stopped Gu Shuriying. She was locked in her room, pounding heavily on the door. "Let me out. I need to find Lu Qian." Her mother spoke through the door. "You didn't cherish him when he was alive. What's the point of all this now that he's dead? The Gu family can't afford this humiliation. Stay here for a few days, and I'll let you out when you've calmed down." But Gu Shuriying couldn't stand it. She smashed the door with a chair, banged her head against it. Still, no one opened it. She shattered a glass tumbler and cut her wrist by the door. "If you don't let me out, I'll kill myself." Blood snaked across the floor, seeping out from under the door. Just as Gu Shuriying's consciousness began to fade, her mother hurriedly called the family doctor to treat her wound, no longer daring to restrain her. She had someone check Liu Yang's whereabouts. Learning he was at the crematorium, she drove there at top speed, nearly crashing several times. But she was still too late. When Gu Shuriying arrived at the crematorium, Liu Yang had already left. She chased after him, finding he had already boarded a boat from a sea burial service and scattered the ashes into the ocean. "Why couldn't you leave me even a single memento to remember him by?" Gu Shuriying's voice choked. Liu Yang merely replied coldly, "Qian hated having anything to do with you." He looked at Liu Qian's mother, who had rushed over. "And you both disgusted him." With that, he left the two women and departed. Liu Qian's mother's legs gave way, and she collapsed onto the ground, covering her face and wailing uncontrollably. "Qian, I'm sorry. Mom knows she was wrong. Mom didn't know you only had one kidney left. That donating again would kill you. Mom didn't know Tao Kai was your father's illegitimate son. Mom regrets it. Please come back." Gu Shuriying watched her wail, finding it both pathetic and laughable. But how was she any different? She had foolishly thought that after the surgery, she would hold a make-up wedding for him. As long as he forgave her, they could live happily ever after. But he would die after the surgery. Just as he had said, they truly had no future. Gu Shuriying numbly returned home, seeking some lingering trace of Liu Qian. But the matching toothbrush holders, pajamas, and slippers he'd bought. The clothes and watches he'd chosen for her, his own clothes and watches, and their photo albums. He had gotten rid of them all. Gu Shuriying had known when Liu Qian was disposing of those things. But she had listened to Tao Kai, believing he was merely playing hard to get, and hadn't stopped him. "I regret it, Liu Qian. You drugging and scheming against me. You hurting Tao Kai. I don't care about any of that anymore. I just want to be with you." Gu Shuriying drank herself into oblivion every day. Pan came to her in tears. "Mama, why did Grandma scold me and call me an ungrateful brat? She's ignoring me now." Gu Shuriying regarded her coldly. "Because you are." Pan gazed at her timidly. Did Pan do something wrong? Everything was wrong. No child spends all day shouting for someone else to be their daddy. Nor does any child constantly clamor for their own father to die. It's you little ungrateful brat, who deserves to die. But every time Pan said she wanted a new daddy or wished daddy would die, you were all laughing. Nobody ever told Pan it was wrong. Crash! Gu Shuriying smashed the wine bottle onto the floor, glaring, her eyes practically splitting with rage. "But nobody had to teach you to curse your own father like that." "Mama, I want daddy." Pan wants to eat daddy's cooking, wants daddy to tuck her in at night. Pan misses daddy. Pan burst into frightened tears, snot and tears streaming down her face. Gu Shuriying, however, merely watched her with cold indifference. "Your daddy was cursed to death by you. No one will ever love you like he did again." Amidst Pon's wails, she tipped the bottle back and guzzled the wine. If she got drunk, the pain would stop. "Liu Qian, do you still hate me? Is that why you won't visit me in my dreams? I regret so much that right up until you died, we never had a proper wedding. Why, just because I hated you, did I delete all your photos? Liu Qian, I miss you so much." Gu Shuriying lived this way, numbly, for nearly half a year. Until one day, she happened to see Liu Yang buying a car with a handsome man. And Liu Yang called the man Qian. In that instant, an absurd thought sprang into Gu Shuriying's mind. That was Liu Qian. Gu Shuriying knew how ridiculous this thought was. Yet, as if compelled by some unseen force, she followed them. The man clearly had an unfamiliar face. Yet when he smiled, just like Liu Qian, his eyes curved into crescents, appearing utterly sincere. Eating hot pot, just like Liu Qian, his favorite ingredient was brain flour. Typing on his phone one-handed, just like Liu Qian, he preferred using his left hand. Gu Shuriying grew increasingly agitated. When she saw Liu Yang about to part ways with the man, she could no longer contain her emotions and rushed forward. "Liu Qian, you're Liu Qian, aren't you?" The man jumped, startled by her outburst. Lu Yong furiously shoved her aside, stepping protectively in front of the man. Gu Shiying, have you lost your mind? Qian is dead. You saw his body yourself. Gu Shiying kept her eyes fixed intently on the man behind Lu Yong. But I heard you call him Qian. Lu Yong frowned. His name is Zhao Junqian. What's the problem with me calling him Qian? You must be crazy. I'm warning you. He has a fiancée, and they're very happy together. Don't come here stirring up trouble. Almost as soon as the words were out of his mouth, a beautiful, alluring woman approached. Gu Shiying recognized her. Su Qianran, the head of the Su Corporation. Taking Zhao Junqian's arm, she bid Lu Yong farewell, and they quickly got into a car and drove away. Lu Qian hadn't expected to run into Gu Shiying again. No, he was Zhao Junqian now. As Gu Shiying disappeared from view, Zhao Junqian finally managed to push down the wave of negative emotions. His conquest mission had failed, and he'd thought he would be erased. But the system declared he had pursued his conquest diligently. It used all the points it had accumulated to redeem a new body for him in this world. And it even resurrected his fiancée in this world. Only, she had lost her previous memories. She had a completely new identity and history in this world. You look so pale. Are you feeling unwell? Su Qianren asked, concerned. Zhao Junqian snapped back to reality and shook his head. I'm fine. Just remembered a nightmare I had last night. It's all my fault. I worked late last night and wasn't here with you. You had a nightmare, and I didn't even know. Su Qianren had him rest his head on her lap, gently massaging his temples. Zhao Junqian gazed into her gentle eyes, thanking the system for the countless time. When he found Su Qianren again, he was ecstatic. He had thought that with her amnesia, he would face a long and arduous pursuit. Yet, the very first time he appeared before her, her affection level for him was already at 100%. She added his contact information and proactively messaged him every day. She asked him out for meals, movies, and trips to the amusement park. She showered him with gifts and even brought him homemade food. Then, naturally, they became a couple. Zhao Junqian got in touch with Lu Yong and even made a point of introducing his fiancée to him. Feeling better now? A pleasant female voice interrupted Zhao Junqian's thoughts. He sat up. Yes, much better. You're so busy with work, you didn't need to come all this way for me. But seeing you always makes me happy. The fatigue from a long day's work just melts away. Zhao Junqian smiled. Ran, I'm truly so happy I could meet you again. She smiled, linking her arm through his. Me too. Oh, Mom and Dad want us to come over to the old family house for dinner tomorrow. They said they missed their son-in-law. Would you like to go? Yes, I miss them too. Zhao Junqian was quite fond of his future parents-in-law. The next day, he went with Su Qianran to pick up the gifts. The orchid was a rare variety Father Su had coveted for a long time. Zhao Junqian had practically begged and paid a premium to have someone cultivate it. The jewelry set was custom-made by a designer favored by Mother Su. The couple was always very kind to Zhao Junqian, and their gifts to him were always thoughtful. Naturally, he wanted to reciprocate that thoughtfulness. Zhao Junqian was buzzing with excitement throughout the gift pickup. Su Qianran had been excited too, initially, but her enthusiasm seemed to wane later. Qian, don't you feel like I'm just kind of superfluous standing here? It's fine, I guess. Su Qianran looked even more dejected. Did you perhaps forget something? Seeing her expression, Zhao Junqian couldn't help but chuckle. All right, I was just teasing you. You mentioned you were getting tired of your usual earring styles, so I picked out a couple of new pairs for you. Here. He produced a small gift box and handed it to her. Zhao Junqian knew she didn't lack for jewelry at all. She simply cherished the feeling of being cared for by him. He, in turn, loved giving her gifts and seeing how much she treasured them. Su Qianran accepted the box, smiling even before opening it. I love it. Which reminds me, I wanted to give my darling a gift too. She casually pulled out a watch, took Zhao Junqian's hand, and fastened it onto his wrist. Seeing her nonchalant manner, he assumed it was just a simple little gift. But when he got a proper look at the watch on his hand, studded with diamonds, he was dumbfounded. This must be worth tens of millions, right? I thought it suited you, so I bought it. Isn't this a bit too extravagant? Do you like it? Yes, I absolutely love it. Then it's not extravagant. Zhao Junqian held out his hand, admiring the watch from every angle, beaming with delight all the way. Su Qianran, holding the two pairs of earrings, snapped photos from various angles, sending them out in group chats, posting them on Weibo and her Moments feed. Only when they arrived at the Su family's ancestral home did the two of them let their wide smiles settle. Now, there was another pair whose faces lit up. This orchid. Qian, you're truly thoughtful. Father Su beamed, the wrinkles around his eyes deepening. Mother Su cradled the necklace and earrings. Honestly, my son-in-law has impeccable taste. Zhao Junqian and Su Qianran had arrived early, and dinner wasn't ready yet. Mother Su, feeling inspired, called Su Qianran over. Ran, come lend me a hand. Let's have our son-in-law taste my cooking today. Zhao Junqian felt awkward just sitting around and offered to help too. But Father Su gently pushed it back down. Our family has plenty of cooks. We don't need our son-in-law in the kitchen. Come, let's pick out the suit you'll wear for the wedding. He pulled out a tablet. Son-in-law, here are a few options from the designer. See if anything catches your eye. If not, we'll have him draw up some more or even find a different designer. No problem. Any of them are fine. Which one do you think looks best? It's your wedding, not mine. You choose. You're Ranran's treasure, which makes you the treasure of the entire Su family. Do things exactly how you like. You don't need to please anyone. Zhao Junqian had been through too much. The hardships he'd endured over the years had long since dried up his tears. Yet, ever since accepting the conquest mission, he often felt the urge to cry. When Father and Mother Su were kind to him, he wanted to cry. When Su Qianran comforted him gently, he wanted to cry. It had been such a long time since he had been loved by so many people. Zhao Junqian chose the suit he liked best, enjoyed a lively, warm dinner with his 3 new family members, and stayed overnight at the ancestral home. He was curious about Su Qianran's past and wandered around the house. Hearing that the first room on the left on the 2nd floor used to be hers, Zhao Junqian approached it curiously. Just as his hand reached the doorknob, Su Qianran nervously stopped him. Qian, could we maybe not go in here just yet? She was always so gentle and accommodating. Whatever Zhao Junqian wanted, she usually agreed. It was the first time he had ever seen her this anxious. All right, I'm not trying to hide anything from you, really. It's just, I'm not quite mentally prepared yet. Give me a little more time, and I promise I'll open this door for you myself. Su Qianran explained anxiously, her face flushing red. Zhao Junqian found her earnestness endearing. He smiled, his eyes curving. Don't be so anxious. Everyone has secrets. It's perfectly normal. He had secrets too. The fact that he was truly Lu Qian was something he might never be able to tell her. Su Qianran hugged him tightly. Please don't hate me for it. I won't. How could he? It was because of her, his conquest target, that he had been given this second chance at life. To ensure she had enough time off for the wedding, Su Qianran had been working frantically lately. The next day, she had to go abroad for a business trip. Zhao Junqian saw her off at the airport. Not wanting to head straight home, he lingered, only to run into Gu Shuriying again. Just yesterday, she had been barefaced and plainly dressed. Today, however, she was meticulously made up, her hair styled, and dressed in the latest season's haute couture. Only the deep shadows beneath her eyes and the persistent redness betraying lack of sleep revealed the truth. She hadn't been faring well these past 6 months. Mr. Zhao, is now a convenient time to talk. Zhao Junqian merely spared her a fleeting glance. No, it isn't. He turned to leave. She rushed after him, reaching out to grab him. But the bodyguard were quicker. Zhao Junqian looked at Gu Shuriying, now held back by the bodyguards. I am Zhao Junqian, not the Lu Qian you're looking for, CEO Gu. If you continue to harass me, I won't be polite. But Mr. Zhao, you look so much like him. And I've made inquiries. You were in a car accident, fell into a vegetative state, and only regained consciousness half a year ago. Besides, the Zhao Junqian from before studied fine arts and never touched chip research. Since waking up, though, you've suddenly started researching chips. That was Lu Qian's field. Gu Shuriying stared at him, her gaze dark and obscure. Zhao Junqian's expression remained impassive. So, Lu Qian, are you still holding a grudge against me, pretending you don't know me? But I already regret it, Zhao Junqian cut her off impatiently. CEO Gu, you were married to Lu Qian for 8 years and treated him like an enemy. To save your sweetheart, you forced your own husband to donate a kidney, ultimately causing his death. Now you come here feigning deep affection. Don't you find yourself utterly repulsive? You admit you're Lu Qian, don't you? I was deceived by Jia Chui back then. I didn't know donating the kidney would kill you. I never intended for you to die. Gu Shuriying's eyes reddened, a tumultuous mix of agitation and guilt washing over her. Zhao Junqian retorted with disgust. If someone ripped out your heart and then claimed they didn't know you'd perish without it, would you forgive them? I truly know I was wrong, and I regret it. Whether you regret it or not has nothing to do with me. You can go find your husband in hell and ask if he will forgive you. With that, Zhao Junqian turned and walked away. He wasn't the least bit afraid of Gu Shiying recognizing him. In his current state, he would no longer fear her threats. The car started. Unwilling to give up, Gu Shiying chased after it, pounding on the window. The car accelerated too quickly. She couldn't keep pace, stumbling and collapsing onto the ground in a state of utter disarray. Zhao Junxian watched this unfold in the rearview mirror, then averted his gaze, his heart completely unmoved. Meanwhile, Tao Kai was hiding nearby, overhearing their entire conversation with perfect clarity. When Zhao Junxian returned home, his mother-in-law had sent him options for several luxury cars, along with the wedding guest list. Son-in-law, take a look. Which one do you prefer for the wedding car? Rolls-Royce, Bentley, Ferrari, Aston Martin, or do you have something else in mind? Here's the guest list. Is there anyone you wish to add? Or, if there's anyone you find disagreeable, feel free to remove them. Finding the phone screen inconvenient, Zhao Junxian opened his computer to review the guest list. Before he could finish, an unfamiliar number called. Lu Qian, I admit I was wrong, but are you entirely blameless? If you hadn't drugged me, constantly bullied Akai, and spun webs of lies, how could I have ever misunderstood you, ever distrusted you? Somehow, Gu Shiying had obtained his phone number. Zhao Junxian didn't let her finish, immediately blocking the number and activating the setting to reject calls from unknown numbers. From the very moment she had abandoned him on that desolate island to fend for himself, all his feelings for her had already withered away. He simply wished she would stay far, far away from his life and cease her disturbances. However, at a cocktail party 3 days later, Zhao Junxian inevitably encountered her again. But it was Tao Kai who approached Zhao Junxian first. Crash! The champagne tower toppled over, trapping Tao Kai beneath it. Soaked, disheveled, and marked with numerous small cuts, he stared up at Zhao Junxian in disbelief. Mr. Zhao, what have I possibly done to deserve this? Why are you treating me this way? Zhao Junxian watched him play these petty tricks again and felt utterly exasperated. But before he could utter a word, Gu Shiying rushed over, crying at Kai. She helped Tao Kai to his feet and turned furiously on Zhao Junxian. I'm the one who wronged you, but Akai has always been the victim. Why won't you let him go even now? It wasn't the first time Zhao Junxian had been misunderstood like this by her. He had long ceased to care about her attitude. But then he saw Su Qianran approaching with father and mother Su. Panic seized his heart, and a cold sweat broke out on his palms. His current partner's family treated him very well, and he was terrified they would, like Gu Shiying and father and mother Lu before them, misunderstand and despise him because of Tao Kai. Zhao Junxian clutched the hem of his jacket. Ran, Uncle, Annie, Don't be afraid. I'm here. Su Qianran shielded him behind her, her voice laced with sarcasm. Bullying the Su family's son-in-law at a Su family reception? You two are really something. Tao Kai remained silent, head lowered, eyes red, looking as though he had suffered a grievous injustice. Gu Shiying's face hardened. Miss Su, before you start blaming people, have you bothered to find out what actually happened? It was Lu. It was Zhao Junxian who pushed over the champagne tower, sending it crashing down onto Akai. Su Qianran didn't even bat an eyelid. I know my fiancé. He never bullies anyone. Seeing her unwavering trust, Zhao Junxian breathed a sigh of relief. Gu Shiying, however, was seething. You know nothing, yet you blindly side with Zhao Junxian. Miss Su, the surveillance footage has been retrieved. Should we display it now? Someone hurried over. Su Qianran gave a cold nod. The footage appeared on the large screen, clearly showing Tao Kai himself pulling down the champagne tower, orchestrating the entire incident. Gu Shiying stared, dumbstruck, her face draining of color until it was deathly pale. She pushed Tao Kai away aghast. You actually lied to me. Tao Kai stumbled and fell to the ground amidst the shattered glass, instantly covered in cuts. He scrambled, protesting frantically. You've misunderstood me. Mr. Zhao and I have no grievance between us. Why would I deliberately frame him? I tripped over the champagne tower. I was so panicked that I thought Mr. Zhao, being the closest, was trying to harm me. Zhao Junxian had seen enough of his act. He stepped forward and struck him hard across the face. I ought to rip that truth-twisting mouth right off your face. Gu Shiying couldn't bear it. Zhao Junxian, Akai already said it was just a misunderstanding. Smack! Zhao Junxian struck him again. You and Tao Kai want to treat me the way you treated Lu Qian? You'll have to see if I let you. He had been pestered by her just days ago, and now she was reprimanding him without knowing right from wrong. Annoyance and hatred surged within him. They had always slung mud at him in the past, and now they were trying to bully him again. But this time, he had the power to fight back. A fire burned in Zhao Juanqian's chest. He wanted not only to clear his own name today, but also to ensure his past self no longer bore those fabricated accusations. Tao Kai repeatedly framed Miss Gu's husband, Lu Qian. Zhao Junxian declared, his voice ringing out. Miss Gu and Lu Qian's parents remained completely oblivious, instead blaming and suppressing Lu Qian because of Tao Kai's lies. Lu Qian was powerless to resist. And now, this pair is trying the same tactics on me. Tao Kai claims today's incident with the Champagne Tower was a mistake, that he only implicated me out of panic. But what about all the things he did to Lu Qian? How does he explain those? Zhao Junxian signaled for the evidence he had only just obtained to be displayed on the screen. Photos, videos, and audio recordings filled the display. Evidence of Tao Kai bullying Lu Qian, twisting facts, accompanied by interview clips from witnesses. Zhao Junxian's expression was glacial. When they were young, Tao Kai led classmates to bully Lu Qian, stripping his clothes, taking naked photos, and forbidding him from telling his family. Then, Tao Kai turned around and told Mr. and Mrs. Lu that Lu Qian was bullying him. Tao Kai dated several girlfriends, but when getting hotel rooms, he secretly used Lu Qian's ID and wore Lu Qian's clothes, later spreading rumors that Lu Qian had a dissolute private life. About 9 years ago, Tao Kai planned to drug Gu Shiying, sleep with her, and then use reporters to force her into marriage. By a twist of fate, Lu Qian ended up in that room instead. Consumed by jealousy and hatred, Tao Kai claimed Lu Qian had sinister motives, that he would stop at nothing to marry a wealthy heiress. Half a year ago, Tao Kai found his birth mother, Jia Chui, and threatened her into forging Lu Qian's medical records. His plan was to get a kidney transplant to save himself, eliminate Lu Qian in the process, and then marry Gu Shiying, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. The list of Tao Kai's schemes against Lu Qian was long, and much remained unproven. For instance, the incident on the deserted island, where Tao Kai staged being pushed off a cliff. No concrete evidence could ever be found. But what had been revealed just now was more than enough to send shockwaves through the entire crowd. So it turns out Tao Kai's previous good reputation was all built upon trampling on Lu Qian. Just now, Gu Shiying even pointed fingers and cursed at Mr. Zhao for Tao Kai's sake. Thankfully, Mr. Zhao isn't Lu Qian and has the ability to fight back. With a wife and parents like these who can't tell right from wrong, Lu Qian truly had it rough. Not only that, I heard Lu Qian's daughter also yells all day for her own father to die. Lu Qian couldn't even clear his name before he died. How pitiful. The crowd murmured amongst themselves. Gu Shiying watched the things displayed on the screen, her expression flickering, finally settling into a deathly pallor. She opened her mouth but couldn't make sound. Amidst the crowd, Mother Lu, after recovering from extreme shock, charged furiously towards Tao Kai. She grabbed his hair, her face streaked with tears and snot. You conscienceless bastard. Your mother interfered in my marriage, and you, an illegitimate son, bullied my son. How could I have hated my own son for a worthless piece of trash like you? Tao Kai was both shocked and scared. Mom, let go, it hurts. Mother Lu delivered several slaps across his face. Bastard, I don't have a son like you. You're hurting. When my son was wrongly accused and bullied by you, wasn't he hurting more than this? His kidney was taken. How much pain must he have been in? You butcher, you'll pay for my son's life. Tao Kai shoved Mother Lu away violently and tried to run, but someone tripped him. He fell face down onto the ground. Mother Lu seized the chance, sat on his back, and started pummeling him with fists and feet. He struggled to lift his head, pleading with Gu Shiying. But the woman who usually protected him seemed not to hear him at all. Tao Kai let out a sharp scream. Mother Lu had bitten into his neck. You bullied my son, caused his death. He died in such agony. What right do you have to live so well? You should die, go to the underworld, and apologize to my son. Mother Lu's mouth was full of blood. A bloody gash was visible on Tao Kai's neck, and blood pooled on the ground. Someone pulled the two apart. Tao Kai was wailing as he was lifted onto a stretcher and taken away in an ambulance. Mother Lu, her mouth covered in blood, broke free from the bodyguard's hold and rushed up to Zhao Junxian. Her eyes brimmed with tears, her face full of guilt and anticipation. A Qian, are you a Qian? It was all Mommy's fault before. Mommy should have believed you. Mommy loves you. Mommy carried you for 10 months before giving birth to you. How could I possibly not love you? Don't hate Mommy anymore. Mommy regrets it so much. Mommy will treat you well from now on. We can still be the closest mother and son, okay? Tears streamed down Mother Lu's face, one drop after another. By the end, she could barely make a sound. She stretched out a withered hand, wanting to grasp Zhao Junqian's. But any affection Zhao Junqian might have had for his birth mother had been utterly worn away. He brushed her hand away without hesitation. You've mistaken me for someone else, Madame Lu. I am Zhao Junqian. Your son, Lu Qian, was already hounded to death by your own hands. Mother Lu's hand fell. Her tear-filled eyes, which had been fixed tightly on him, dimmed in an instant. Yes, my son. Already, I caused his death. I'll never see him again. Mother Lu's eyes slowly lost focus, staring into the void, as the corners of her lips and her eyes gradually curved upwards. Qian, don't cry. Mommy believes you. You're Mommy's best, most well-behaved baby. How could you possibly bully anyone? Someone in the crowd murmured, did she help the illegitimate son, harm her own child, and then go mad after learning the truth? No one answered, until Father Lu came to take Mother Lu away. Zhao Junqian didn't spare her another glance. Gu Shiying's eyes were red, and she tried several times to approach him, but Su Qianran blocked her each time. CEO Gu, just now you were bullying my fiancé for your little lover. I haven't settled the score with you yet. What are you trying to do to him now? Haven't you bullied him enough? Gu Shiying said anxiously, Tao Kai isn't my lover. My relationship with him is completely innocent. I've never done anything to betray my husband. I'm looking for Mr. Zhao just to sincerely apologize to him. Su Qianran didn't refuse outright, but looked towards Zhao Junqian. He said with disgust, her apology, I don't need it. He just wanted Gu Shiying to stay far away from his life from now on. Su Qianran turned back to Gu Shiying. If CEO Gu isn't deaf, you should have heard that. Zhao Junqian's mood had been ruined by Gu Shiying and the others. As soon as the reception ended, he headed out. Are you okay? If you're upset, just cry it out. It's not embarrassing. Su Qianran held his hand, her voice exceptionally gentle. Before Zhao Junqian could answer, Father Su said worriedly, Qian, if you don't want to talk to a young girl like her, finding it embarrassing, you can talk to me instead. Mother Su thought for a moment, then pulled out a card. Why don't you go spend some money, buy a car or something? Whenever I'm unhappy, I go shopping. Thank you, Ran and Uncle, Auntie, but I'm fine. The one who suffered those unbearable things was Lu Qian. If anyone should be sad, it's him. Seeing how concerned they were, Zhao Junqian felt that bit of unpleasantness vanish. In the 6 months since becoming Zhao Junqian, he had been very happy. Gu Shiying left the reception in a daze. All along the way, people were discussing her. And she supposed to be a group CEO? Played for a fool by Tao Kai's petty schemes, getting her own husband killed. How do you know Gu Shiying was tricked by Tao Kai? Maybe she fell for someone else and deliberately helped the mistress harm her husband. When Lu Qian died, his name was dragged through the mud. It was so pitiful. If Mr. Zhao hadn't been provoked by that despicable pair and revealed those things, who knows how long Lu Qian would have been cursed. It's a pity Lu Qian's death only led to the doctor's arrest and a shake-up at the Gu family hospital. Gu Shiying and Tao Kai faced no retribution at all. Gu Shiying wanted to explain. She had never intended to help Tao Kai bully Lu Qian, nor had she believed Tao Kai's clumsy lies from the very beginning. It was Lu Qian's parents. They had sided with Tao Kai, saying Lu Qian drugged her, saying he bullied Tao Kai. She had assumed Lu Qian's own parents wouldn't possibly favor an adopted son and slander their biological son. She had thought Lu Qian must have gone too far, so much so that even his own parents couldn't bear to watch. Recalling every accusation she had hurled at Lu Qian in the past, his look of disappointment and despair, Gu Shiying regretted it so bitterly her insides twisted. She went to the hospital. Tao Kai lay in bed, the wound on his neck already bandaged. Father Lu was furiously accusing him. Ah Qian was your brother. Your own brother. How could you harm him like that? Xiang Jiandong, what right do you have to accuse me? My mother was your girlfriend, yet you hid it from her, married your wife through an alliance, turning her into a mistress and me into an illegitimate son. It was your whole family that wronged me. Tao Kai stared at him, his face twisted and ferocious. Gu Shiying clenched her fists, looking at him with disgust. So this is your true face. Seeing her, Tao Kai instantly switched to an innocent facade. Shiying, I had no choice. Shut up. Gu Shiying slapped him hard across the face, murder flashing in her eyes. Tao Kai, for what you did to my husband, making his life a living hell, I will make you pay it all back. She turned her head to look at Father Liu. Sever your father-son relationship with him, or else I will stop at nothing to bring down the Liu family. Father Liu said suppressively. He did wrong, but he's the only son I have left. Gu Shiying retorted with disgust. I see, I was mistaken. You father and son both bullied Lu Qian. You both deserve a terrible end. She walked out and immediately called her special assistant. Cancel all cooperation with the Liu family. Special assistant. CEO Gu, we granted the Liu family the license to use our patent for producing the new chip. If we breach the contract, we'll have to pay a hefty penalty. The board will definitely reprimand you. And the Liu family has invested almost all their funds into production. They'll have no choice but to declare bankruptcy. Are we really going to do something so mutually destructive? Gu Shiying didn't hesitate. Do it. I'll bear all the consequences. Also, arrange a press conference. When? Right now. The press conference was hastily convened. Gu Shiying faced the cameras and bowed deeply. First, I want to sincerely apologize to my husband, Lu Qian. I'm sorry. It was because I couldn't distinguish right from wrong because I was blind in both eye and heart that I helped outsiders bully him. Second, I want to publicly clarify something today. The research for the new chip was solely led by my husband, Lu Qian. It was the fruit of his 5 years of hard work. Tao Kai had no involvement whatsoever. I was deceived by Tao Kai, believing Lu Qian had harmed him, and forcibly transferred the patent rights to Tao Kai's name. As soon as the press conference was held, the entire internet was in an uproar. Gu Corporation's market value plummeted, its stock crashed, and several major shareholders expressed dissatisfaction with Gu Shiying. Learning that she had even breached the contract just to retaliate against the Liu family, not only paying huge penalties, but also shelving all projects related to the new chip, causing enormous losses for the group, the shareholders were practically driven mad. They pressured Chairman Gu, her father, to convene a shareholders' meeting, where they immediately replaced Gu Shiying as CEO. Mother Gu cried until her eyes were swollen. Shiying, are you trying to destroy yourself, destroy our Gu family? If you truly loved Lu Qian that much, why didn't you treat him well when he was alive? What's the use of doing all this now? Gu Shiying smiled bitterly. I also deeply regret not treating him well before. That's why she wanted to try her best to make amends, to let Lu Qian see the sincerity of her repentance. Perhaps then, she could still win a chance for them to reconcile. Zhao Junqian saw Gu Shiying's public statement. The internet was full of condemnations against her and Tao Kai. Tao Kai never even entered the lab. How dare he claim Lu Qian's credit and even tell Lu Qian to learn from him? Truly, shamelessness knows no bounds. With a wife and boss like Gu Shiying, what bad karma did Lu Qian accumulate? As a university graduate, my original target was the Gu Corporation, but now I've accepted an offer from another major company. I'm afraid if I ever displease CEO Gu Shiying, she might snatch my work and give it to her lover. I'd be furious. Besides the discussions about Gu Shiying and Tao Kai, there was news of the Gu Corporation suffering massive losses and the Liu family facing bankruptcy. Zhao Junqian merely glanced at it before continuing preparations for his wedding. What happened to those people no longer concerned him. However, on the way to the bridal studio with Lu Yang, he encountered Gu Shiying. Lu Qian, let's talk. She was so thin her cheeks were sunken, bearing no resemblance to her formerly arrogant and lively appearance. Zhao Junqian looked at her coldly. Want to talk? Fine, you go die too, then you can talk to Lu Qian underground. Lu Yang rolled his eyes dramatically. Still want to talk to Ah Qian? What makes you think you deserve it? Ah Qian, let's go ignore her. He put his arm around Zhao Junqian's shoulder, walking with him towards the bridal studio. But Gu Shiying didn't give up, chasing after them. She said urgently, Lu Qian, you saw the news online, didn't you? I did that, even at the cost of harming the Gu Corporation's interests, to avenge you and to show you the determination of my repentance. Zhao Junqian grew annoyed by her clamoring. Just then, a car pulled over, and Su Qianren stepped out. Weren't you supposed to be on a business trip for at least half a month? How'd you get back so quickly? Seeing her, Zhao Junqian's annoyance vanished, his eyes curving into crescents. Su Qianren took his hand, kissing the back of it. I came back to try on suits with you, and I'll try on wedding dresses too. I'll leave after we're done. I should choose our wedding attire carefully. But that will be tiring, it's not necessary. Many things aren't necessary, but if I want to do them, that's enough. Lu Yang grinned widely. Right. Our Ah Qian's woman should care about him this much. Miss Su, as my future sister-in-law, I'm quite satisfied with you so far. Keep up the good work. Su Qianren stood up straight and said earnestly, I certainly will. After she spoke, all three of them laughed and walked toward the bridal shop together. As they walked, Su Qianran took things out. I saw a really nice watch at a famous watch shop in England. Ah Qian, this is for you. And this, a small trinket sold by an overseas student on the street. I thought you might like it. Lu Yang, this bank card is for you. After Ah Qian finishes trying on his suits, I have to leave. I'll be quite busy before the wedding, so I'll trouble you to help him with the wedding arrangements. Consider this compensation for your trouble. Zhao Junxian held the trinket and the watch. He already had many like them, but he was still very happy. She was always thinking of him. Thank you, Ran Ran, I love them. Zhao Junxian wrapped his arm around Su Qianran and, unable to resist, leaned down and kissed her lips. He tried on his 5 custom-made suits and 10 other formal outfits. Su Qianran also tried on many wedding dresses and gowns. Lu Yang was constantly taking pictures of them. This one's sharp. Maybe this one. I think this one's even sharper. Ah Qian, why don't we have 3 weddings? Or extend the wedding over several days, so you can wear all these outfits. Whatever Su Qianran suggested, Zhao Junxian agreed. He had wanted to marry her for so long, but only achieved it in this lifetime. Ran Ran, thank you for coming into my life. I finally have the chance to marry you. Nearly 4 hours passed before they finished trying on the clothes. Zhao Junxian walked Su Qianran out, only then realizing Gu Shiying was gone. He didn't know when she had left, but it didn't matter. After watching Su Qianran's car drive away, Zhao Junxian happily went for hot pot with Lu Yang. He thought Gu Shiying had finally given up this time. However, when Zhao Junxian woke up the next day, he found Gu Shiying standing outside the villa with Pan Pan. He frowned in annoyance and told the bodyguards to send them away. But the mother and daughter struggled constantly, shouting, Lu Qian, are you abandoning me and abandoning our child too? Daddy, I miss you. The housekeeper complained to Zhao Junxian. Are this mother and daughter crazy? They regret causing Lu Qian's death, so why are they acting crazy here? No one would think along the lines of possessing another's body. They would just assume the mother and daughter had mental problems. Zhao Junxian didn't want to deal with them at all, but he hated their relentless haunting even more. He opened the door, walked out, had the bodyguards retreat 20 meters away, and looked coldly at the mother and daughter. Gu Shiying had deliberately tidied herself up, but the air of despondency couldn't be hidden. Pan Pan, who used to be plump, fair-skinned, arrogant, and domineering, was now thin and small, looking somewhat gloomy. Seeing Zhao Junxian come out, Gu Shiying was overjoyed. I knew it. No matter how much you hate me, you wouldn't abandon our daughter. You painstakingly raised her, cherished her in the palm of your hand. You couldn't bear to part with her. Pan Pan also rushed over crying, hugging Zhao Junxian's leg. Daddy, Pan Pan misses you so much. Pan Pan doesn't want a new daddy. Come home with Pan Pan. Zhao Junxian pried her hands off without mercy. Your father is already dead. Weren't you always hoping your father would die, so Tao Kai could be your dad? Now you have your wish. Uncle Tao is bad. He hits Pan Pan and scolds Pan Pan. Pan Pan doesn't want him as a daddy anymore. Daddy, Sobi. Pan Pan knows she was wrong. Pan Pan will be an obedient, sensible, and filial child in the future. Please come home with Pan Pan. Pan Pan cried until she could barely breathe. Zhao Junxian just looked at her faintly. You can become obedient, sensible, and filial, and perhaps many people will like you in the future. But your father was hurt too badly by you. He can no longer forgive you. He had given this daughter too many chances. He knew she was young, easily deceived, incited, and misled. She was pitiful, but his past self was also pitiful. He couldn't possibly forgive her. Unwilling to give up, Pan Pan tried to hug him again and again, crying and calling Daddy, only to be pushed away each time. The last time, she fell sitting on the ground, no longer having the courage to call Daddy. She just looked at Zhao Junxian, crying her heart out. Gu Shiying walked over, picked her up, and said to Zhao Junxian with difficulty, Lu Qian, I know I was terribly wrong before, but I truly regret it. I'm willing to spend the rest of my life making it up to you. I beg you, give me one chance. With a thud, she knelt on the ground. Zhao Junxian had never seen her so subservient to anyone. But looking down at her, he felt no sympathy, only hatred. Gu Shiying, you always say you're willing to make amends. Have you ever experienced being repeatedly pointed at and cursed as cheap, as vicious, by the person you love most, watching her protect the bully who torments you? You still have my kidney inside you. Do you know what it feels like each time your body is cut open to remove a kidney? Do you know what it feels like to be thrown onto a deserted island, suffering from hunger and cold? So cold you lose body heat. So hungry you eat insects and grass roots. Before you ask me to forgive you, Why don't you go experience these things first, and see if you can still say forgive to the person who tormented you so endlessly? If you have even the slightest shred of shame towards me, stop harassing me. Just looking at you makes me sick." After speaking, Zhao Junxian turned and went back inside, without a backward glance at the mother and daughter. Afterwards, they didn't come looking for him again. Only a month later, he received a message from Gu Shiying. "I'm sorry, I have no right to ask for your forgiveness." Shortly after the message arrived, Zhao Junxian heard that Gu Shiying had gone to a deserted island by herself, stayed for half a month, and was rushed to emergency rescue. The Liu family went bankrupt. Liu's father couldn't accept it, suffered stroke due to high blood pressure, became paralyzed on one side, and would spend the rest of his life bedridden. Without the support of the Liu family and Gu Shiying, Tao Kai still tried to live his former extravagant life. He invested confidently, but lost all his money. Coincidentally, the anti-rejection medication Tao Kai took after his kidney transplant had been tampered with. The rejection reaction was too severe, landing him in the hospital. To survive, he needed a new kidney or conservative treatment. But he couldn't even afford the medical bills. If he couldn't raise the money in the next 6 months, he could only wait to die. Zhao Junxian paid little attention to their news. He was about to marry the woman he loved. At the wedding, Gu Shiying stood holding in 4 drip, crying continuously. She drank until she got alcohol poisoning and was sent to the hospital. 6 months after the wedding, Su Qianran took Zhao Junxian to her old room. "It's time to tell you my secret." That room was covered with photos of Liu Qian and Zhao Junxian. "Ah Qian, I'll never forget when I was kidnapped and left to die in a cave. It was you who saved me. I asked you then, how could you be so brave? You said your father didn't care, your mother didn't love you, nobody cared about you, just a worthless life, gone if it's gone. But to me, you were a hero who came to save me on colorful clouds, the person I care about most in this life. My biggest regret was finding you too late. By then you had already fallen in love with Gu Shiying. I used to hide and watch you. My heart was conflicted. I both hoped Gu Shiying would treat you poorly, so I could justifiably steal you away, and feared she would treat you poorly, causing you heartache. I secretly followed you both for 2 years. Gu Shiying treated you well, and you loved her very much. I was afraid I'd do something uncontrollable, so I chose to leave. That was also my biggest regret. I didn't know what would happen to you later, that you would be murdered. Luckily, a system found me, said I could do a redemption mission. Redemption target, Liu Qian." Zhao Junxian listened in shock. Finally, with reddened eyes, hugged Su Qianran tightly. Thank goodness, he had successfully saved her in this life. Only after arriving on the deserted island did Gu Shiying realize how cruel her punishment of Liu Qian had truly been. In the depths of winter, this barren island offered nothing but rocks and withered grass. For the first time, she learned the taste of bizarrely shaped insects. Rank, astringent, sticky, nauseating. But after a week, she couldn't even find insects anymore. Only endless stretches of desolate grass remained. The roots were dry and bitter. Every swallow felt like countless dull knives slicing her throat, filling her mouth with the taste of blood. Gu Shiying had nothing to eat or drink. She shivered uncontrollably from the cold. Her cracked lips agonized with the slightest movement, and her body was covered in painful chilblains. Many times she took out the satellite phone, wanting to call for help, but forced herself to resist. I must endure for a month, experience all the suffering Liu Qian went through. Only then will I be worthy of seeking his forgiveness. If he could do it, I definitely can too. I will show him my sincerity and determination." Gu Shiying endured and endured. Each day on the island was a living hell, sustained only by sheer willpower. But no matter how she tried to bolster her spirits, after half a month, she could hold on no longer. The torment of constantly standing on the precipice of death was unimaginable for an ordinary person, impossible to withstand through conviction alone. Gu Shiying called the medical team. With reddened eyes, she typed out several thousand words, intending to send them to Liu Qian. But in the end, she deleted everything, leaving only a single, stark phrase, "I'm sorry." No matter how many excuses she manufactured, no matter what else she did, nothing could alter the fact that she had hurt Liu Qian. Gu Shiying was rushed into emergency care. She remained unconscious for 2 days. Her first words upon waking were a question. "Liu Qian, has Zhao Junxian come?" "No, he's at his wedding." Clutching her 4-drip stand, Gu Shiying hurried to the wedding venue. She watched Zhao Junxian, clad in a sharp suit, kneel before Su Qianran and place the ring upon her finger. In that instant, Gu Shiying plunged into utter despair. She knew she had lost her chance forever. She couldn't fathom her past self. Why had she loved Lu Qian so fiercely, married him, only to wound him so wantonly? Gu Shiying drank until she suffered acute alcohol poisoning and was admitted to the ICU. Drifting in and out of consciousness, she thought she heard Lu Qian weeping. Gu Shiying, please wake up. Just wake up, and I'll forgive you. Her eyes flew open abruptly, but the man she yearned for wasn't there. The ICU held only patients and nurses. She stared blankly at the ceiling, tears streaming down her face. Lu Qian was already dead. The one still living was only Zhao Junqian. Pompon's epilogue. Before she turned 6, Pan was the cherished treasure of her family. Both her father and mother loved her more than anything. After she turned 6, her father died, and her mother hated him. One day, her mother took her to meet an uncle named Zhao Junqian and told her to call him Dad. But her mother seemed to dislike him intensely. His cold demeanor, he clearly wasn't Dad. Dad would never look at her that way. Later, her mother confirmed it too. Her father was dead. They had mistaken the man. For many years thereafter, her mother spent her days clutching a liquor bottle, doing nothing at all. Her maternal grandparents' hair turned white prematurely. Their attempts to reason with her mother proved futile, and eventually, they directed all their blame onto Pan. It's all because you met your dad that your mom's life is ruined, they'd say. Pan couldn't understand how her once loving grandparents had suddenly become like enemies. Her father, her Uncle Tao, everyone seemed to have abandoned her. She grew timid and perpetually anxious, because no matter what she did, it ended in scolding. Pan missed her daddy terribly, but she knew he would never come back. And in the entire world, no one would ever love her the way he had again.